after the greatest and most recent exodus of Rohingya coming to Bangladesh, and I knew very little about all that before I arrived here. But I've since been working, I would say, more than half of what I've been doing here as a diplomat has been related to the Rohingya crisis. I want to say, first of all, that I very much enjoyed listening to our 5 panelists today, and in almost every way, I agree with what every one of them said. It's not an easy problem. Here's what I could add. For countries like Canada, we, you know, and it's something that looks a bit hypocritical to some when we say we're so grateful Bangladesh did what it did in August 2017 when they allowed the Rohingya to move across the border, because this doesn't happen very much in the world. And we know, we knew then, we still know today, it causes a huge amount of hardship for Bangladesh, not just financial. When I go to Cox's Bazar, I see what is going on in what we call the host communities, Ukiya and all that. It's very difficult for the residents over there to cope with everything that's happening in their community because Bangladesh has decided to allow these refugees to come in. And this is extremely important. And from, you know, what we heard today, of course, there's a huge burden and hardship that has fallen on Bangladesh, on the host communities. We all know that for the Rohingya themselves, what happened is atrocious. It's horrible. The atrocities they had to live through and all that is another big dimension of this. And for a country like Canada, there's a third dimension. It's the fact that in this day and age, a country such as Myanmar can do what they did in 2017. And so we can't just accept this and do nothing about it. At the same time, we feel powerless in many ways to do much. The UN route is kind of blocked because of veto powers of countries who happen to be close allies of Bangladesh. So what we can do in the meantime is ask ourselves, okay, how can we support Bangladesh through this? And how can we also do something to help the Rohingya? On that topic, I love every time I can hear some people who know what they're talking about come up with ideas. We could do this. The RMG, why don't we help the Rohingya empower themselves, take care of themselves, be self-sufficient? Education came up in one of the presentations. And, you know, I understand on one level why the government of Bangladesh has hesitations about offering everything possible to the Rohingya community, which makes it more likely that they'll become comfortable here and won't want to go back. But at the same time, many diplomats in Bangladesh, like me, are wondering, isn't the reason they're here in the first place because over time they lost their ability to be educated, to have people who know how to defend their community, to hang on to their rights in Myanmar? And isn't part of the solution to get the Rohingya educated, smarter, better organized while they're here? But if they're living in squalor with no education, with not much to look forward to, almost no hope for their children, well, that will just make sure they stay here longer, I'm afraid, or that things get worse while they are here. So it's not an easy problem. It's easy to criticize that not enough is done, but there's no obvious solution. As I said earlier, I'm, as a diplomat, a member of the international community. We want to do things. We feel bad that we can't do more, but there's just no easy solution. Having discussions like this to make the complexity of this crisis come out is an important step. It's important for the Bangladeshi population to understand that there's no malice, there's no evil plan. It's just everybody's doing their best, following their own interest. Bangladesh has to follow its own interest. The international community has to do what it thinks is right. So all of that to say that I'm glad to be here to hear new ideas, to try to explain what Canada's trying to do. This is a big issue in my country. It's a big priority. Our parliament has declared unanimously that what Myanmar did to the Rohingya is a genocide. We are imposing all kinds of sanctions. We totally dislike and oppose what has been happening. And we keep telling the government of Bangladesh and Rohingya leaders, how can we help? We will not abandon you. We want to be part of the solution if we can agree on what the solution has to be. And that's the tricky part. So thank you very much, and thanks for coming here. Very